Blue Ridge School is grateful to its alumni for many reasons, and our school is particularly proud of the qualities of leadership and strong personal character that many of our graduates embody. In celebration of these traits, we've created the Hall of Leaders, which honors a special few who have led lives of exceptional achievement and service. We believe the greatest among us have made a positive impact in all aspects of their lives, professions, and communities, not just here on campus. The Hall of Leaders is thus intended to be a powerful answer to the question, what types of young men graduate from Blue Ridge School? It is our hope that, for decades to come, a prospective family can visit the Hall, see a brief video like this one, and know exactly the kind of school we are. We are exceptionally proud of this inaugural class of 2024 and deeply grateful to them once again for leading the way. Go Barons.
What Hatcher was able to do was to provide an environment that was intended to nurture rather than scold. He believed in boys. I was fortunate enough to be a part of his leadership team. I was amazed at the way that Hatcher had figured out what was right for a specific group of young men who needed to discover what was good about them, not what was bad, and to allow them to grow and hopefully prosper. And most of them did. I see him as a kind of guardian angel for a lot of these boys. He had worked at very high pressure prep schools, and it kind of got to him. There was nothing but continuous competition in the classroom, on the athletic field. You know, everybody was trying to be, you know, in the top 10 of the students, and it was kind of a dark, in my opinion, a dark sort of competition. That's not the way it is here. Hatcher was a most remarkable man in the sense that he could talk you right into where he wanted you to be. He would go out and meet with people in Charlottesville, I mean, people with some wealth, and he could talk you into what a wonderful place it was, and come on up, help us, and he got people doing that. I have to wonder whether nothing would have been here if Hatcher hadn't been. He is, in my opinion, our indispensable man. Absolutely, he is.
We are in the bourbon whiskey business and regular Kentucky whiskey. My granddad, Pappy, started in the business as a salesman for Mr. William LaRue Weller back in 1893. The rest is history, as they say. But I joined Dad in 1977 and worked with him for 4 years. He unfortunately passed away in '81 of prostate cancer, so I was handed the business after only being in it for 4 years. So I toughed my way through it and bought a little bottling facility in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. That's where I would buy barrels and age them in the warehouse and bottle them down there. And that's where the Pappy Van Winkle brand was created. I had a black and white picture of Pappy when he was taken at his office in his 80s, and that's what I used for the label for all the Pappy labels. And that brand really took off. When I went to Blue Ridge, I also went one summer, I went to Outward Bound, which is out in Colorado, which was this mountaineering type endurance class for 28 days. And it was, what I learned there was kind of that you're tired, you don't want to go up this damn mountain any longer. Your legs are tired, you're carrying a 80-pound pack or whatever, or it's pouring down rain and you just want to sit down and just, go get on the airplane and go home. But number one, you can't. Number two, it kind of taught you to hang in there and keep it going and keep moving. Later in life, when I had this little bottling plant, it was kind of the same deal as being an Outward Bound in the rain on a mountainside. It was it's sink or swim. So swimming is a lot more acceptable. So that's what I learned to do.
I left college early, thought I would take a semester off. My father said, well, instead of going to the beach, I think I'm going to put you to work. Our family was in the coal mining business. Our family started mining coal in Appalachia back in the 1880s. So I moved to a small town in eastern Kentucky and began working for one of our coal mines in that area. And so I initially started working underground as a general laborer. I was exposed to lives of people that live in poverty. And I worked side by side with people who lived in that area every day. And even though I moved back to Richmond eventually to go to work for the family business at the headquarters here, I recognized that everything that we accomplished in the coal industry was a result of the hard work of the men and women who worked the coal mines in Appalachia. In 2014, when I was retiring from the coal industry, I wanted to leave something that continued to support people that worked for us and that lived in southern Appalachia. But we identified two things. We identified we needed to improve the health of the workforce, and then we needed to create a support system for small business and entrepreneurs. So we started a 501c3 organization in Beckley called the West Virginia Hive. We would support them with resources to start their own business. But the major thing is the health of the workforce. In order to attract new industry, new business to the area, we needed to improve the health of the workforce. So we started another nonprofit called the Active Southern West Virginia. The main program for that organization is based on the concept of going down into small communities and training leaders who can help their friends and neighbors and co-workers to be more physically active. And if you're more physically active, you're more self-confident, you're healthier, and hopefully you can move your way up in your health rankings and be able to attract industry from all over the country.
After college, I had an 8-year career playing music for a living. I had stepped back from playing music just to get my head clear and figure out what I wanted to do next. And Dad sent me up to Pennsylvania to work at a bottler up there. And he got diagnosed with liver cancer and he was gone in 4 months. From then on, it was myself and my sister. There's two of us here. And I knew enough at that point in time to keep my eyes open, keep my ears open, ask a lot of questions, take the advice of those that my dad had trusted to help run the business for a long time. So the folks that were the top managers at the time, they were willing to give me and my sister a chance to move the business forward. And they didn't hesitate to say, this is what your dad would have done. And I didn't mind hearing what my dad would have done because that was helpful as well. It wasn't easy, but it was an easier transition than it might have been under other circumstances, I think. So you just participate, you show up, and I guess that's one important thing. You make the commitment and you show up, and you keep your ears and eyes open and ask questions when you come across things that you don't understand. Find somebody there you trust, get them to explain it to you. And I think 9 times out of 10, there will be others that are probably in the same position you are would benefit from hearing that answer as well. Most summers I had worked at Pepsi here in Charlottesville, so I knew all the players. There's a lot to running this business. There's no way that, at least I don't think there's any way that I could keep all that in my brain at one time. So yeah, I rely on the folks that we've got to know more details than I could possibly keep in my mind. If you have an important decision to make, whether in a leadership capacity or even as a team player, it's hard to see all the ramifications that it might have. Do your best to envision those beforehand and make your decision based on all that. And so both my sister and I have been on lots of different community boards over the years. It was something we grew up with, responsibility that we just assumed. And taking on those endeavors, I didn't think I had anything special to add. But as you go, as you show up, as you learn more, there are, and if you care, it's given back to the community. And I was presented with opportunities to help out here and there, and to, like I mentioned, the Charlottesville Area Community Foundation. When I joined it, there was, I think someone had given about $1 million to them, like in the late '60s. It was just a small, like 1 or 2 people. It wasn't even any paid staff. It was just a few volunteers, doling out a little bit here to this organization or that each year. And this is certainly not because of me. It was just because of the momentum from the community. But it's when I got off the board, we had like $110, $120 million in reserves each year. That gives them the ability to give back to lots of local organizations. But again, it just goes back to the community supports us. We need to support the community, and it's the right thing to do.